Where can you get Thailand's beaches without the crowds, Bali's rice terraces without the Instagram chaos, and China's history without the tour buses? Welcome to Vietnam, the ultimate destination dupe that's hiding in plain sight. While everyone's fighting for space in Phuket and Ubud, Vietnam offers everything those places promise, but better, cheaper, and with a fraction of the tourists. But here's the catch. Most travelers are still getting it wrong, flocking to the same 3 spots while the real magic remains undiscovered. We're about to change that. Now, before we dive into the destinations that'll replace your entire travel wish list, we need to tell you about something impossible we discovered. A place so incredible, so unexpected, that we're saving it for the end of this video. Trust us, you'll want to stick around for this one. We're just getting started. Subscribe to our channel, The Destination Dupe. We're here to show you the world's best alternatives to overcrowded tourist traps. We help you rediscover the world through a fresh lens with stories, perspectives, and culture, one journey at a time. Are you ready? Let's begin. You know how everyone raves about Thailand's beaches and limestone karsts in Krabi and Phang Bay. What if we told you Vietnam does it better with fewer tourists and at half the price? Welcome to Phong Nha Ke Bang National Park, the destination that makes Thailand's tourist magnets look like cheap knockoffs. Here's what makes this place the ultimate dupe. While Thailand's beaches are packed with banana boats and jet skis, Phong Nha gives you pristine rivers winding through jungle, limestone mountains that make Krabi look flat, and underground cave systems so vast they redefine what you thought nature could create. Paradise Cave stretches for 31 kilometers underground. Think about that for a second. 31 kilometers. You could walk for hours through cathedral-like chambers with stalactites hanging like chandeliers, and you'd still only scratch the surface. But here's where it gets wild. Dark Cave offers something no Thai beach resort can match: a mud bath inside a mountain. We're talking about swimming through pitch-black cave passages, then emerging in a chamber filled with therapeutic mud. You'll look ridiculous, feel amazing, and have stories that make "I went to a Thai beach" sound incredibly boring. Want water? The Che River offers kayaking through landscapes that rival anything in southern Thailand, minus the tour groups and pushy vendors. Crystal clear water, towering cliffs, and the kind of peace you thought didn't exist in Southeast Asia anymore. And unlike Thailand's islands, where you're constantly dodging selfie sticks and hearing same but different for the 1,000th time, Phong Nha still feels undiscovered. The town itself is charming, small, and filled with family-run guest houses where the owners actually remember your name. The local food scene? Authentic Vietnamese cuisine without the tourist markup. A beer costs less than $1. Accommodations are so cheap you'll think you're reading the price wrong. This is the Thailand experience you dreamed about before Instagram ruined it. Everyone's seen those photos of Bali's Tegalalang rice terraces, right? Hundreds of tourists lined up on swings, fighting for the perfect Instagram shot, paying entrance fees to stand in fields that local farmers are trying to actually farm. Forget all that. Ha Giang province does rice terraces better, bigger, and without the influencer circus. This is Vietnam's northernmost province, and it's where the mountains don't just have rice terraces, they are rice terraces. Layer upon layer of emerald green steps carved into mountainsides that stretch farther than your eye can see. The Mi Pi Leng Pass is often called the king of passes in Vietnam. And when you're driving along this narrow mountain road with sheer cliffs dropping thousands of feet to the No Ke River below, you'll understand why. This isn't just scenic, this is pull over every 5 minutes because you can't believe what you're seeing scenic. Would you rather stand in line for a tourist swing in Bali or have an entire mountain road to yourself in Ha Giang? But here's what really separates Ha Giang from Bali: authenticity. The terraces here aren't maintained for tourists. They're working farms. The ethnic minority villages you'll pass through, the Hmong, Thai, and Dao people, aren't performing culture for visitors. This is real life happening whether you're there or not. The Jong Vun Karst Plateau Geopark is a UNESCO site that looks like something from another planet. Imagine a vast sea of limestone peaks stretching to the horizon, with tiny villages and terraced fields tucked into valleys. It's like Bali's beauty, multiplied by 100, minus the yoga retreats and overpriced smoothie bowls. Every Sunday, the local markets in places like Maeovac and Jong Vun explode with color. Women in traditional dress, their silver jewelry catching the sunlight, sell handmade textiles and fresh produce. No tourist craft shops, just real trade happening the way it has for centuries. Want the real kicker? A 3-day motorbike loop through Ha Giang, the experience of a lifetime, costs less than one night in a mid-range Bali hotel. We're talking about mountain passes, traditional homestays, authentic meals, and memories that'll make your friends' Bali stories sound painfully generic. And unlike Bali, where traffic jams and development are slowly choking the magic, Ha Giang remains beautifully, wonderfully remote. This is what Bali used to be before everyone discovered it. Don't wait until everyone discovers this too. You've heard of Venice, right? Canals, historic buildings, romantic bridges, and approximately 7 million tourists who've made the city nearly unlivable for locals? What if we told you there's a town that captures everything magical about Venice? The history, the architecture, the charm, without the crowds, the cruise ships, or the $20 glasses of wine? Welcome to Hoi An, the UNESCO World Heritage Town that makes Venice look overrated and overpriced. Here's the story Venice doesn't want you to know. While it's sinking under the weight of mass tourism, Hoi An thrives as a living, breathing historic town where people actually live, work, and welcome visitors without the exhausted resignation you see in Venetian shopkeepers' eyes. The Japanese-covered bridge? Built in the 1590s. That's older than most of what tourists photograph in Venice. The difference? In Hoi An, you can actually enjoy it without being elbowed by tour groups. Would you rather pay $200 a night for a tiny Venice hotel room with views of a crowded canal? Or $30 for a beautiful Hoi An boutique hotel in a restored merchant's house? But here's what makes Hoi An truly special. The town doesn't just preserve history, it lives it. On the 14th day of every lunar month, Hoi An celebrates the Lantern Festival. Electric lights go dark, and thousands of silk lanterns illuminate the streets, creating a scene so magical that Venice's reputation as Europe's most romantic city suddenly feels like marketing hype. The Thuban River runs through town like Venice's Grand Canal. But instead of overpriced gondolas, you have traditional boats operated by local families. The architecture blends Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, and French influences, 4 cultures in harmony, unlike Venice's singular aesthetic. And the food? Venice charges you €8 for a coffee in St. Mark's Square. In Hoi An, that same money buys you khao lao, a noodle dish found nowhere else on Earth, banh mi from a 70-year-old recipe, and white rose dumplings so delicate they're practically edible art. The tailors in Hoi An can create custom clothing in 24 hours for less than you'd pay for off-the-rack in Venice. We're talking suits, dresses, shirts, measured, fitted, and made while you explore the town. Venice makes you feel like an intruder in a museum. Hoi An makes you feel like a welcomed guest in a friend's beautiful home. This is the romantic, historic, canal town experience you wanted without the disappointment of fighting crowds and spending a fortune. Wait, Vietnam as its own dupe? Hear us out. Everyone who visits Vietnam puts Halong Bay on their itinerary. It's iconic, it's UNESCO listed, and it's absolutely mobbed with tourist boats. What if we told you there's a place that offers the same dramatic limestone karsts, the same emerald water, and the same mystical beauty, but on land, so you're not stuck on an overpriced cruise with 200 other people? Welcome to Ninh Binh, nicknamed Halong Bay on land, and it's the smarter traveler's choice. Here's what makes this the ultimate dupe. Instead of being trapped on a boat schedule, you explore Ninh Binh at your own pace. You can bike through rice paddies with limestone mountains rising dramatically around you. You can take a traditional sampan boat through the Trang An Cave system, where rivers flow through mountains. It's like Halong Bay's caves, but more intimate, more peaceful, and significantly cheaper. The Tam Kok area, which means 3 caves, offers boat rides through rice paddies and cave tunnels. Your boat is often rowed by local women using their feet, a rowing technique unique to this region. It's mesmerizing, authentic, and the kind of experience that makes expensive Halong Bay cruises feel like tourist traps. Would you rather be stuck on a boat with hundreds of tourists in Halong Bay, or peacefully rowing through rice fields with limestone mountains towering above you? Mua Cave offers something Halong Bay simply cannot. You can climb 500 steps to a viewpoint that reveals a panorama so stunning, you'll understand why photographers lose their minds over this place. Rice paddies stretch in every direction, winding rivers cut through the landscape, and those iconic karst mountains rise like ancient guardians. Bai Jin Pagoda is Southeast Asia's largest Buddhist complex. Think massive bronze Buddha statues, hundreds of stone air hats, and a bell that weighs 36 tons. This kind of cultural depth is something you'll never get floating around Halong Bay. The food in Ninh Binh deserves its own documentary. Goat meat is a local specialty, prepared in ways that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about this protein. Kham chai, crispy rice, with goat meat is the regional signature dish. It's crunchy, savory, and addictively good. Unlike Halong Bay, where you're paying for a floating hotel experience, Ninh Binh lets you stay in family homestays or boutique hotels in the countryside, waking up to roosters crowing and mountains glowing in the sunrise. And here's the real advantage. Ninh Binh is only about 2 hours from Hanoi. Halong Bay requires the same time investment, but Ninh Binh gives you freedom, flexibility, and authenticity instead of a predetermined cruise itinerary. This is the karst landscape experience Vietnam is famous for without the tourist industrial complex that's taken over Halong Bay. Loving this journey with us so far? Subscribe to our channel to explore the world with us every week. Now, let's continue. Time to blow your mind. What if we told you there's a place in Vietnam that feels more like the French Alps than Southeast Asia? While everyone's sweating through the tropical heat in Bangkok or Ho Chi Minh City, there's a city in Vietnam where you need a jacket in the evening, where pine trees outnumber palm trees, and where the architecture looks like it was airlifted from the French countryside. Welcome to Dalat, Vietnam's hill station that dupes both European mountain towns and Thailand's northern tourist traps like Chiang Mai. Located at 1,500 meters above sea level, Dalat has a year-round spring climate. We're talking temperatures between 15 to 23 degrees Celsius, while the rest of Southeast Asia bakes in humid heat. The French colonial founders called it Le Petit Paris, and when you see the European-style villas, the pine forests, and the flower gardens, you'll understand why. But here's where Dalat gets weird in the best way possible. It doesn't try to be authentic Vietnam or authentic France. It's its own bizarre, beautiful hybrid. The Crazy House is proof of this. Designed by architect Giang Viet Nga, This building looks like Gaudi and Dr. Seuss collaborated on an acid trip. It's a hotel, but it's also a tourist attraction. Concrete tree trunks, cave-like rooms, and organic shapes that defy architectural logic. You won't see anything like this in Europe, Asia, or anywhere else on Earth. Have you ever stayed in a building that looked like it grew out of the ground instead of being built? Xuan Huang Lake sits in the city center, offering paddle boats, lakeside cafes, and flower gardens that bloom year-round. It's what European cities promise but often don't deliver. Genuine beauty without feeling manufactured for tourists. Dayton Falls offers something unique. After hiking to see the waterfall, you can ride an alpine coaster back up. It's Switzerland's mountain transportation meeting Vietnam's love for unexpected fun. But here's what really makes Dalat special. It's Vietnam's agricultural heart for temperate crops. This is where the country grows strawberries, artichokes, and even wine grapes. Yes, Vietnamese wine. The Dalat wine region might not rival France, but it's surprisingly good and costs about $5 a bottle. Would you rather pay $200 a night for an Alps hotel room or $40 for a Dalat villa with a fireplace and mountain views? The night market in Dalat is where locals actually go. Not a tourist trap, but a real market selling grilled corn, fresh strawberries, and candied fruit. The cool evening air makes walking around feel comfortable instead of oppressive. Here's the Dupe logic. Europeans pay hundreds of euros to escape to mountain towns for cooler weather and scenic beauty. In Dalat, you get the same experience at a fraction of the cost, with Vietnamese hospitality and food that's infinitely better than fondue. Chiang Mai tries to be Thailand's cool northern retreat, but it's still hot, still crowded with digital nomads, and increasingly expensive. Dalat offers genuine cool weather, smaller crowds, and prices that haven't caught up to its beauty yet. This is the mountain escape you didn't know you needed, in a country you thought was all tropical heat. Now, let's talk about Vietnam's secret island. The Maldives gives you overwater bungalows, crystal clear water, white sand beaches, and price tags that require you to check your bank account twice before booking. But what if we told you Vietnam has an island that delivers the same paradise experience at 10% of the cost? Welcome to Phu Quoc, Vietnam's largest island, and the destination that makes the Maldives look like a luxury you don't need to pay for. Here's the math. A week in the Maldives costs $5,000 to $10,000. A week in Phu Quoc, staying in beautiful beachfront resorts, eating fresh seafood daily, and enjoying the same turquoise waters? About $800 to $1,200. Same experience, different price tag. Sao Beach offers powdery white sand and water so clear you can see your toes 5 feet down. Unlike the Maldives, where beaches are artificially maintained and you're confined to resort grounds, Sao Beach is natural, accessible, and free. Would you rather spend $500 a night for a Maldives overwater bungalow or $80 for a Phu Quoc beachfront resort room and spend the savings on incredible food and experiences? Phu Quoc's night markets are famous throughout Vietnam. Dinh Khao Night Market offers grilled seafood, fresh spring rolls, and local specialties while you sit with your feet in the sand. Try that in the Maldives, if you can find food that isn't mediocre and overpriced. The island produces Vietnam's best fish sauce, nuoc mam, and pepper. Yes, pepper. Phu Quoc. Pepper plantations offer tours where you can see how one of the world's best spices grows and buy it for less than you'd pay for the inferior stuff back home. Sunset Sonato Beach Club on Ong Long. Beach offers the Instagram-worthy sunset experience with cocktails and lounge chairs, exactly what Maldives resorts charge $50 plus per drink for. In Phu Quoc, $5 cocktails and free beach access. And Thoi Islands, off Phu Quoc's southern coast, offer snorkeling and diving that rivals the Maldives. Coral reefs, tropical fish, and water visibility that'll make you forget you're not paying Maldivian prices for this. But here's what makes Phu Quoc better than just being cheap Maldives. It's got culture. There are temples, markets, villages, and Vietnamese life happening beyond the beaches. The Maldives is beautiful but sterile. Phu Quoc is beautiful and alive. The island is developing fast, new resorts, an international airport, even a casino, but it hasn't crossed into overdevelopment yet. You can still find quiet beaches, family-run guest houses, and the feeling that you've discovered something before everyone else. This is the tropical island paradise you dreamed about, without selling a kidney to afford it. Remember at the beginning when we said we'd found somewhere impossible? Here it is. Con Dao Islands, a place so special it's almost absurd that it exists. Here's what makes it impossible. This archipelago off southern Vietnam was once one of the world's most brutal prison systems. During French colonial rule and later the Vietnam War, thousands of political prisoners were tortured and died here. It's a place with a dark, heavy history. And now, it's paradise, but not the Instagram sanitized resort-style paradise. This is paradise with depth, with meaning, with a story that makes every sunset feel more profound. Have you ever been somewhere where beauty and history coexist in a way that changes how you see the world? Con Dao has beaches that look like desktop wallpaper come to life. Jam Trao Beach could compete with anywhere in the world. Soft sand, clear water, and usually you'll have it almost entirely to yourself. On a good day, you might see 5 other people. On a perfect day, it's just you and the sea turtles. Yes, sea turtles. Con Dao is one of Vietnam's most important nesting sites for endangered sea turtles. Between June and September, you can witness these ancient creatures laying eggs on the beach at night. An experience that's both humbling and magical. The Con Dao National Park covers both land and sea, protecting diverse ecosystems from coral reefs to tropical forest. Diving here reveals underwater landscapes that most of Vietnam's coastal areas lost decades ago to development and pollution. But the history can't be ignored, and it shouldn't be. The Con Dao prison, now a museum, tells the story of Vietnamese revolutionaries who were imprisoned here. The tiger cages, small concrete cells where prisoners were exposed to the elements, are a sobering reminder of human cruelty. This juxtaposition is what makes Con Dao impossible. It's a place where you can snorkel with sea turtles in the morning, visit prison cells that held revolutionaries in the afternoon, and watch a sunset that somehow contains both the weight of history and the lightness of natural beauty. Con Dao doesn't ask you to forget its past to enjoy its present. It offers both, honestly and without apology. The town is small, undeveloped, and refreshingly free of mass tourism. There are no high-rise hotels, no chain restaurants, no tourist traps trying to sell you overpriced souvenirs. Just a handful of resorts, some local guest houses, and restaurants serving fresh seafood caught that morning. Getting here requires effort, a short flight from Ho Chi Minh City or a ferry ride, and that effort has kept the crowds away. Most tourists never make it to Con Dao. They stick to Phu Quoc or Nha Trang, places that are easier, more developed, more obvious. Their loss is your gain. Hon Bai Con is a tiny island just off Con Dao's coast, accessible by boat. The coral reefs here are pristine, the fish abundant, and the experience feels like traveling back in time to when Vietnam's coast wasn't covered in resorts and beach chairs. This is the impossible destination, a place that combines natural beauty, historical significance, and the kind of peace that's vanishing from Southeast Asia. It's paradise that makes you think, beauty that comes with substance. Con Dao is proof that Vietnam saves the best for those willing to dig deeper, travel further, and look beyond the obvious tourist trail. So let's recap. We've taken you from Phong Nha, where Vietnam beats Thailand's beaches without even trying, to Ha Giang, where rice terraces make Bali look like a tourist trap, to Hoi An, the town that delivers Venice's charm without the crowds or the cost, to Ninh Binh, where you get Ha Long Bay's beauty with actual freedom, to Dalat, the mountain retreat that dupes European Alps at Vietnamese prices, to Phu Quoc, where the Maldives experience costs 90% less, and finally to Con Dao, the impossible paradise with a history that makes every moment more meaningful. But here's the bigger truth we want you to understand. Vietnam isn't just duping other destinations. It's rewriting what value, authenticity, and experience mean in travel. This is a country where a dollar goes further than almost anywhere else in Southeast Asia, where mass tourism hasn't ruined everything yet, and where you can still find places that feel genuinely undiscovered. The rice terraces are real farms, not photo ops. The beaches are for swimming, not just posting. The history is alive, not preserved in amber for tourists. The food is incredible because locals eat it every day, not because it's been designed for Western palates. Are you tired of overcrowded tourist destinations where you spend more money for less authentic experiences? Vietnam is what Thailand was 30 years ago, what Bali was before Instagram, what Europe was before budget airlines made it accessible to everyone. But here's the urgent truth. It won't stay this way forever. Phu Quoc is already developing rapidly. Ha Giang is appearing in more travel blogs every month. Con Dao won't remain unknown forever. The window where Vietnam offers this much value, this much authenticity, and this little crowding, that window is closing. Not next year, not in 5 years, but eventually. The travelers who get there first, the ones who choose Vietnam while everyone else is still fighting for space in Phuket and Ubud, they're the ones who'll have the stories, the photos, and the experiences that can't be replicated later. This is your moment. Vietnam is calling, offering everything you thought you had to go to multiple countries to find. Beaches, mountains, history, culture, food, and experiences that'll change how you travel forever. So here's what we want you to do. First, hit that subscribe button because we're the destination dupe and we're finding you the world's best alternatives to overcrowded tourist traps. Second, drop a comment telling us which Vietnamese destination you're visiting first, or if you've already been. Which place we missed that deserves to be on this list. Third, most importantly, start planning. Because Vietnam isn't going to wait for you to be ready. The best destinations never do. Thanks for watching. This was the Destination Dupe. We're here to show you the world's best alternatives to overcrowded tourist traps. Subscribe to your channel to rediscover the world through a fresh lens with stories, perspectives, and culture. One journey at a time.